Hey y'all, welcome back to our channel, My Life as Monique. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Please remember to like, share, subscribe. And if you're interested in these type of videos, hit that little bell and YouTube will notify you of all my uploads. So guys, I am going to bring you these exposés on these plastic surgeries that go wrong. I do this just to bring awareness to people who may be anticipating getting plastic surgery, but just to let them know that there is a risk. But this is another story. I did one on the BBLs gone wrong, a 5-part series on hard-headed Miami. I will link that up above. But this particular story, guys, is something totally different. We're talking about medical tourism. Now, I don't have anything against medical tourism where you go to other countries because you might be able to get medications cheaper or even surgery, but there's always a risk, and their guidelines and their standards and protocols are not the same as here in the US. And then the other thing is, if you don't have family members there and something goes wrong, it turns into a disaster. So guys, this particular video, I wanted to just warn you, I'm going to do this in a 2-part series. This is about medical tourism, and this takes place in Atlanta. This is for fair use for educational and commentary purposes. We will be commenting on this particular video. Let me move this up and see if I can get this out of the way. Let me see if I can start the video.
New tonight at 6, medical tourism is a worldwide multi-billion-dollar business and growing, but it can be a risky proposition because of lax standards and oversight to address medical malpractice. Now, we tried to find statistics on how many of these surgeries led to infections, disfigurement, even death. But those numbers...
Now, I want to warn you, there's some graphic pictures in this, so if you're kind of squeamish, I just want to forewarn you that there are some pictures that are graphic. However, I think it's important that we look at those pictures and see this woman here. She's very brave. She's in the state of Georgia. I wish I could follow up with her. I may end up contacting the news station to see how she's doing, but I know she probably wishes she never did this surgery. However, I think it's important for us to watch. Let's go.
They're not tracked.
Now, you can save money, but you could also be rolling the dice with your life. One Columbus woman found that out the hard way, and she's sharing her story to warn others. But some of the images you're about to see are graphic, and you may find them disturbing.
I just can't believe that you could do something like this to somebody and then not even show no type of remorse.
For the past 10 months, Periel Wallace has been living her own personal nightmare. A trip to the Dominican Republic for liposuction and breast augmentation not only left her disfigured.
Oh my God, look at that picture. It's almost like they butchered this woman. You guys, look at my old video. I had a live. I need to go ahead on and edit it. But there's something sinister about some of these things that are going on, because this looks like a little kid did this surgery.
Figured.
And when they unbandaged me, I just screamed. I just started screaming. Like, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Like, it literally looked like a child took a scalpel and just cut me up.
It nearly left her dead.
I felt extra weak, like I just did not feel right. Something just felt wrong.
By the time she arrived home to Columbus, Periel was in agonizing pain. She shared her medical records with us. They show she was admitted with what doctors described as a raging infection. She says doctors told her it was most likely caused by unsterile medical equipment.
I was so angry at myself that I allowed this to happen. That's how I felt. I felt like it was my own fault, because if I would have did more research, this wouldn't have happened.
Periel knew women who had procedures done by the same doctor in the Dominican Republic and had great results. She expected the same outcome.
In my opinion, she's a monster. That's how I look at it. Because
wow. So they said she went over to the DR and to the Dominican Republic, and which they call medical tourism, because they do a lot of surgical procedures much cheaper than they do here. But this woman looks like she butchered her for real. And she lives in Georgia, and she got back home, and they said it was most likely a post-operative wound infection due to dirty or non-sterile instruments. Oh my goodness. And she's a beautiful young woman. So can you imagine going over, you may have a little cellulite and maybe a couple of rolls or something, but can you actually imagine? Oh my God, let's finish listening to what happened.
Because not once has she even just acknowledged me to say, I messed up.
And here we have to...
Now, let me stop by saying this, and I have to interrupt with commentary because I can't just play this straight through because this is for commentary and educational purposes. No doctor in America or otherwise is going to call you and say sorry because that's almost like an admission of guilt. Okay? They're not going to call you and say sorry at all. So that's just not going to happen. So don't ever think it is. Okay, let's go back to the video.
Provide that, which...
Dr. Bivek Shah is a board-certified plastic surgeon here in Central Ohio. He says what happened to Periel is heartbreaking, but sadly, he says it's more prevalent than you might think.
So I have had 5 people that I've taken care of, and we routinely get phone calls, I would say at least 1 or 2 a month, of somebody that has gone somewhere else outside the country and had a major problem.
Okay, so that's Dr. Shah. And he said basically he takes care of himself, at least 5 patients a month. And then he routinely, which means on a regular basis, gets phone calls from people who have made those trips to the DR or other places and come back with infections, problems, and things that he has to clean up. And maybe sometimes even near death. See, we don't hear about this stuff. And a lot of the women, what I'm learning is there are these support groups, even on Facebook, that these women are exchanging stories and trying to get each other support and help after they've gone through almost hell, thought they were going to come back with the perfect body, and then something happens. I had a girlfriend, y'all, who, this is probably, I would say 7 years ago, more than 7 years ago. She went to the DR. She took time off from work, but she couldn't come back. And what I think and I recall, and from what I can assess, I think she did have a BBL. She said something about some sort of infection, and she went to get her body done. Mm-hmm.
Dr. Shah agrees that traveling abroad for medical procedures can save you money, but the risk is much greater. Doctors outside the U.S. don't have the same regulations and safety protocols to adhere to. There's no state medical board to hold them accountable, and there's no legal recourse for patients when something goes wrong.
I think instinctively people trust doctors to a certain level at least. So when they see a low price and a doctor that will do it, there's trust that there's no way they're going to hurt me.
But Periel...
Wow. So I think he's right. When they see the fact, whether you're a doctor, there's the trust. And then he says they equate the low price and then the doctor with, this is not going to happen to me. And it does happen. Now, this is a young woman. She looks like she's in her late 20s, maybe. Pretty face. And she is messed up. Guys, I'm going to come back with the part 2. Medical tourism, like he said, yes, you're going to get that cheaper price, but they don't have the standards and protocols that they have here in the U.S. And I'm not saying that things can't happen to you in the U.S. because things happen every day, but it's much more difficult, with these cases where if something goes wrong, your family is not there with you and then trying to get you back home. Let's see what happens to this beautiful woman in our next video, part 2. She is from Georgia. And when I say it looks like they butchered her up, it's not even just the physical problems she has. She's happy that she survived, because some people don't. But the fact of the mental part of it, that's what I want to talk about it. So if you have, I've had in several of my videos, you guys tell me about family members, friends, even in lives that went to other countries to get surgery and some didn't come back alive. I think it was Gina G, one of my subscribers, that told me that. So guys, let me know what you think about this. See, this is hitting more close to home than what we know. This is a young lady in Columbus, Georgia, and she said she knew somebody. Who are they? Okay, my question is, this is about education, but what are you doing these things to your body for? You know, to me, I don't believe it's because I have this self-body image. And I think some people can have that and feel and have low self-esteem about their body. But getting this big butt in this derriere and trying to get your stomach smaller, I'm here over 50 and I have to do the hard work. There's no in between. What happened to that? Like saying, I'm going to just stop eating so much, stop eating so late, drink my water, try to exercise, work out, walk. What happened to that? All right, guys, like, share, subscribe, and I'll come back with part 2 of medical tourism nightmare. All right, y'all, peace, and I'm out.